Midweek day baseball in Chicago. The Sox trying to split the series with the Pittsburgh Pirates coming out of the National League Central. This is game number 2 of 2. Thanks for joining us once again. Jason Benetti, Steve Stone along with you. And once again, we talked about Yolmer Sanchez and his personality last night. And as we're doing that, his hits continue to build.
Yolmer's just doing a great job, playing every day. We're getting the most out of his stroke from both sides of the plate, and last night no exception. He's got his batting average up to .306. This one lost in the lights. Dickerson can't find it. Yolmer can find it. Drives in a run, hustles to third base, and it set things up scoring-wise. He's been doing that all year long. So take a look at the last 15 games, hitting .310, but driving in 13 runs. His slugging percentage is great. His on-base percentage is great. Yolmer is proving to be just more than a jack of all trades. He's proving to be a valuable member of the starting lineup for this team.
He certainly has. In terms of the pitching matchup today, the young star for the Sox, Reynaldo Lopez against Trevor Williams.
Reynaldo Lopez looking for his first win. He's thrown well enough, and he's 9th in the league in earned run average, so he's tough to square up. However, last time out, they did square him up a bit. Trevor Williams on the other side of the equation started off very hot. Lately, he's not throwing quite as well, but this is a guy that comes right at you. He doesn't do anything to dazzle you. He just gets you out. And because of that, Pittsburgh loves him in their starting rotation. Reynaldo Lopez on the other side of the equation has much better stuff, but last time out, Minnesota was able to square him up. He got a no decision, gave up a few more runs than he would like. He didn't strike out anybody, and that's unusual for him. But this is a guy with a tremendous upside. There you look at the disparity between the start and the last 4 starts for Trevor Williams. On the other side of the equation, Reynaldo Lopez last time out didn't throw as well as he would like. You see 0 in the strikeout column. You're not going to see that a whole lot with him. His stuff is that good, and hopefully today gets his first win.
Lopez versus Williams, game number 2, just around the corner from Guaranteed Rate Field as the prelude to the weekend series on the north side.
Tested, trusted, Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all. By Lexus, who encourages you to experience amazing. And by Miller Lite, the original light beer. Miller Lite, hold true.
Warm and windy at the ballpark this afternoon. Sox and Pirates, game number 2 of a 2-game series. Pittsburgh 4 games over. The Sox at 9-24 starting play today, and we will tell you about the Pittsburgh starting lineup written out by Clint Hurdle, former Rockies manager, among other things. Adam Frazier at the top, then Polanco 2, Frazier in left today rather than second base. Marte, Bell, Dickerson. Diaz is the catcher, Moran at third, Rodriguez, very good defender at second, and Jordy Mercer is double play partner.
The defensive setup for our Sox, presented by UI Health, and this is how Ricky's going to put them out there with Nicky, Adam, and Daniel in the outfield. Then it's Sanchez, Anderson, Garcia, and Davidson in the infield with Wellington Castillo, author of 2 home runs last night, behind the plate. And our Lexus experienced amazing starting pitcher is Ronaldo Lopez, looking for his first win of the year. CDRA at 243, that's among the league's best, despite the fact that he has not won, and right-handers have done nothing with him. That's a testament to his very lively fastball and a good straight change. The umpires for the game this afternoon, John Tumpane has the plate with the crew chief Mark Wegner at first. Ben May is at second base with Jim Reynolds at third. Beautiful day for baseball. The sun is playing peekaboo with the clouds, but the wind is howling out toward left and left center, which is a radical departure from the way things have been this year. It's usually blowing to the right field corner. Today, you get the ball up in left or left center field, it's going out of the ballpark. The winds look to be gusting 30-35 miles an hour, maybe a little more than that at times.
Yeah, it is one of those daytime heating days, and talking to Roger Bossert earlier, we are out of the woods for now with the rain, but it may come back in a couple of hours, so the hope is it doesn't, and we can play 9 innings without interruption today. Ronaldo Lopez, first pitch, strike 1, and we are off and rolling at Guaranteed Rate Field at 1:10 this afternoon. Adam Frazier was 0 for 4 for the Pirates last night, team that pounded out 16 hits in the series opener. Here is what Ronaldo Lopez will feature in this start. 56% four-seam fastball. The changeup is very good.
I think the changeup nowadays is a little better than that slider, which, when good, is very good. But he's more consistent with the changeup. I think he feels more comfortable with that.
In the air towards shortstop. Tim is there, and he makes the play for round number 1.
Not a whole lot of speed on this Pittsburgh team, but what speed there is, Clint Hurdle, the fine manager, the Pirates takes advantage of. We saw hit and runs last night. We saw the team very aggressive for a team that doesn't steal a lot of bases. They will try to steal them when they get on. And Clint said he's more a situational running manager than a guy that has a blanket philosophy about what to do. So certainly if we see Marte get on, he's going to be off to the races. He's swiped 9 of their 15 bags this year.
First pitch hunting, it's a pop-up, and it is Yolmer called off by Tim for round number 2. Well, this is a change from last night. First 2 innings last night were about half of Ben-Hur.
It was about the 2-hour mark. We were then coasting into the third. And then, of course, things moved along precipitously after that. Turned out to be close to a 4-hour ball game. But it made up for that with a whole lot of offense and some fairly spotty defense. But today, another day, the Pirates have come out very aggressively. And Ronaldo's coming out throwing strikes.
Thought there was a decent chance Charlton Heston was going to throw out the first pitch today instead of Lester Holt.
Lester did a nice job.
He did.
But he showed a little baseball in his past.
Great newsman in this city, now the NBC Nightly News. Oh, and 2 on Marte. And for Ronaldo Lopez, here's the batting average against. So this is from the catcher's perspective. Inside and low to right-handers, and low straight down the middle has been the best bet against him so far this year. Do with that what you will as you watch today's game. Check swing on a ball up, and no go from Marte.
Marte's one of their best players. There's not much that he can't do. He's a Gold Glove outfielder. Now he's playing center field every day, moving over from left with Andrew McCutcheon being gone from this ball club. McCutcheon the star for a long time for the Buccos.
Lopez really wants to get that swing on the high fastball and hasn't the last two.
It was just a little too high. A good slider right now. We'll see what Wellington would like. Would probably wipe him out. Now he's going with the heat.
Right there, strike three. Nice paint job by Lopez and a 1-2-3 first. Fords, Mitsubishis, Genesis, and Hyundais are the best price. Go to webcars.com. Garcia at the top, then Sanchez and Abreu. Delmonico batting fourth. Castillo with 2 homers last night. Falk, Davidson at first, Anderson, and Engel your starting lineup.
The defensive setup for the Buccos presented by UI Health. And you saw Clint Hurdle can throw them out there today. It's Frazier, Marte, and Polanco left to right in the outfield with Moran, Mercer, Rodriguez, and Bell in the infield. Elias Diaz behind the plate. He's the backup catcher and a good one. And our Lexus experienced amazing starting pitcher is Trevor Williams. This is 8th start. The ERA is terrific. The numbers very good. Not a strikeout pitcher, but he will throw strikes consistently.
Former second-round pick of the Marlins throws a first pitch ground ball, and Garcia wraps out for out number 1.
The boys have a plane to catch, you think?
It seems like it. Seems like they have late lunch plans.
I think what's happened is Williams comes in as a reputation of a strike thrower, so they don't want to fall behind. They're going to be very aggressive with him, and Ronaldo today was throwing strikes. The Pirates, who do make contact, very aggressive with him. So 4 hitters have gone by with rapid dispatch.
I would make mention of the possibility of 2 1-2-3 innings, but earlier today involving the Mets, we had a 1-3-2 inning. The Mets batted out of order in their first inning today.
Well, you can't beat that. I would think that all things considered, that's not a good thing to happen.
Yeah, for a first-year manager, when you're trying to make your mark, and Mickey Callaway is a very smart guy, very understanding of the mistake, and I'm sure he'll very earnestly take responsibility for it. He knows jokes will follow in New York.
Just a few. Just a few.
Yolmer takes a strike, 2-1.
But Mickey Callaway's Mets are starting out at 18-16, doing a nice job. Only 2 games in back of Atlanta. Atlanta, the surprise team in the NL East.
That is a bunched up division. In fact, most divisions are bunched up divisions. The largest lead is in the National League West with the Diamondbacks 3.5 ahead of Colorado. As you see what Williams throws, very fastball heavy.
He likes his changeup. The sinker is very good. They got him as a compensation pick. They lost a minor league hitting coordinator to the Miami Marlins and got Williams back.
To third and passed.
I would think that would be a base hit. Although Moran decided to play it off to the side, it's still a hard hit ball. It's a one-hop rocket. He's well off the line, and Yolmer going to left field. See, sometimes when you do play it off to the side like that, instead of getting in front of it, used to say one of the qualifications to being a good third baseman is a strong chest. So we'll have to see exactly how that one is ruled. But regardless of how it's ruled, Yolmer's at first base.
What you're talking about being in a trade for the hitting coordinator reminds me of when Al Michaels was traded recently for the rights to a cartoon character.
Where was that exactly?
It was from Disney to NBC. Al Michaels was signed to do Sunday Night Football, and he was given up by Disney, who wanted the rights to a cartoon character, some rabbit of some kind. And
Jessica Rabbit?
No. Oh, wait. Who'd you say?
Jessica Rabbit?
No. I was giving you credit for possibly getting it right, but that was erroneous.
No. Yeah, that's true. I remember Manny Sanguin for Chuck Tanner. That was one of the great trades, a manager for a catcher.
Inside ball number 1, Yolmer on base. Chuck Garfien, welcome in.
Good to be here. And you know, Yolmer Sanchez is known a lot for his hijinks, what he brings off the field to the White Sox, but he's having his best season so far. This after last year was his best season. In 2016, he batted .208. Last year was .267 with that base hit. Today, he's up to .311 in this early part of the season. And speaking before the game, Rick Renteria said that Yolmer is one of the most high-energy, most competitive players he's ever coached. He's had that kind of effect, not only on the coaching staff, but on his teammates here with the White Sox.
Well, thank you, Art Chuck, and he's right about that. Yolmer is a positive player, very aggressive player, and he means a whole lot to this team. You know, at first, when Yolmer was going through the growing pains of understanding the major leagues, because he was the youngest player at every level coming up through the minor leagues, and at first, you wonder if he was just going to be a swing guy. You wonder if he was going to be one of the guys that was going to move forward when all of the young players come through this organization. Now you realize, as well as he can play, he probably is one of the building blocks, although it's yet to be determined where that block is going to land.
That's the fun of baseball. I mean, no matter how much you think you have a player sized up, or the data suggests somebody is going to be something for the entirety of his career, they make some adjustments, they make some improvement, and their personality comes out, and they become almost a different human being.
Well, I think one of the big factors is when a manager shows confidence in you, and the ultimate confidence is writing your name in the lineup every day. And as soon as that happened to Yolmer, he's gotten better and better.
Two and two to Jose. Williams thinking Yolmer might go.
Yolmer's also maybe the first player in the history of baseball to dump water from a Gatorade bucket onto himself.
It's very true.
That might be in Cooperstown. They should bring that Gatorade bucket to Cooperstown in honor of Yolmer. What do you guys think?
I think that's great. I think somebody needs to make that happen.
Williams very quick to first base. He also is pretty quick to the plate. This is not a great combination to run against. Diaz has a very good arm and a very quick delivery, and so we'll see if Yolmer's going to go, but right now it looks stationary to me.
He is, and it's a ground ball foul, third base side. Well, the Sox, I was just going to say, the Sox got 4 runs in the first inning last night, so you'd hope maybe you can get that again.
All Jose's got to do is lift the ball up into left or left center field. You don't have to get a whole lot of it because the wind is blowing as briskly as we've seen in this young season, and it's blowing straight out to the left field corner.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Way inside, 3 and 2 from Williams. The conditions are 77 cloudy, and hold on to your hat.
That is a very stiff breeze, and now if you want to send Yolmer, it's a good idea from the standpoint of a pitcher. Now you want to give him your best move at first base.
Williams comes home, and it's a foul ball. Your 2018 Chicago White Sox are presented by Guaranteed Rate, your trusted teammate throughout the mortgage process. Experience the difference today at rate.com.
Ricky wanting to stay out of the double play. Jose has grounded into 6 of them this year, tied with Tim Anderson. That leads the ball club in that dubious department, and so Yolmer was indeed going.
Off he goes, 3-2 upstairs. Sox have 2 on in the first inning. So here's Nicky, whose walk early in the game yesterday in that first inning helped spearhead the Sox 4-run rally.
It was 3 borderline pitches. Jim Reynolds gave Nicky the benefit of each and every one of those calls. They were all off the plate, but many times you can get rung up on that. He didn't, and the inning turned into one that would see 4 on the board. Turned out to be not quite good enough, but it was a good start to the game.
Always love to see how many trivia wonks we have following the game on Twitter. You can tweet at us at Steve Stone, at Jason Benetti. A number of people came up with the name of the rabbit. It is Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. Mike Meyer, our cameraman in the booth, was there as well. That Al Michaels was traded for. You never were traded for an animal, were you?
Not yet, but you never know. We keep that possibility open. Now, one thing the base runners have to be aware of, Diaz has a good arm, and he has a quick delivery, and he also loves to throw behind runners. So if you take a good secondary lead, there's a very good chance that Diaz at least is going to attempt to pick you off. Comes into play, especially at first base. Cervelli last night had Tim Anderson picked off, only see the ball get away, so you have to be heads up with both of the Pirate catchers.
That is some trouble. And it's 2. Rodriguez to Mercer to Bell. And we are done with the first inning. No score. Sports Chicago on Krause Cable in lovely Manhattan, Illinois, in Will County.
It's a nice place. I love the subways. Subways are just great there.
You do?
Yeah.
Here's what we have coming up. Ricky Renteria and the Pirate that he most would want to have on a deserted island with him, just in case you've ever wanted to know. Omar Vizquel at 2:45, and then the longest Sox game ever ended this day in 1984. It started yesterday in 1984.
It was a long way to go for that one, only to see Harold with a home run to walk it off.
Well, it was Wimpy's fault. Sox were down a couple runs in the 21st, and he drove in in a 6-4 game, 2 runs to tie it back up.
Can't beat that.
Oh, no.
Wimpy was a great clutch hitter.
Especially in the 21st.
Yeah. In
one of the great 21-inning hitters.
You couldn't get him out in extra innings.
Pulling a strike on Josh Bell. And there he sees the off-speed stuff from Lopez.
That was a good straight change, and he didn't tip it off at all. So this is their first look. And bear in mind, the Pirates train in Florida, so they didn't see Ronaldo in spring training. So they're getting their first look. And you can look at video as long as you want, but there's nothing like facing a pitcher live to find out how the fastball moves.
Not a fastball certainly there, and Bell was quizzical at both.
Last time out, Ronaldo did not strike out any of the Minnesota Twins, and already he's got 2. He's going to be a big strikeout pitcher. That was a slider that didn't slide a whole lot, and sometimes when you make a mistake with it, you get away with it if it's up, and he did.
Pirates are a tough team to strike out. 7th fewest strikeouts in Major League Baseball, but back-to-back punch-outs for Lopez. And here is the irritant from last night, Corey Dickerson, who had 4 hits. Question is, where do you get him out?
Well, the way he's swinging it right now, you don't get him out too often because he's going to make contact and he's going to hit it hard. We saw that as a member of the Tampa Bay Rays. The defense wasn't all that great a lot of the time. However, he swung the bat very well.
0-2. Here's a suggestion of how you might pitch him. And it's don't throw the ball near down the middle. Don't throw it inside if it's going to be low and inside. Down and away from there seems to be the way to get him out, at least so far this year.
Well, that is the spot that you get just about every hitter out. Ted Williams, the great hitter, said that that was the toughest spot for him to hit. Low and away with a good moving fastball. I believe he called it his 240 zone. 240 for him usually translates into about $130 for most hitters.
One, 2 on the ground, second base. Garcia. 5 up, 5 down for Lopez.
Every ball handled in the infield so far. Ronaldo picking a good day to keep the ball in the infield because fly balls to left will depart. Here's a man that was thought of to be simply a defensive catcher, suddenly swinging the bat exceptionally well.
Elias Diaz, who's at 385 to start this year. That's 15 out of 39. '27-year-old out of Venezuela. Into center field, Adam Engel dealing with the wind. And that's 6 in a row for Lopez to begin the game. Bottom 2 coming next.
this afternoon, and that is Lester Holt, anchorman from NBC Nightly News. He's in town with the NBC Nightly News across America, and he threw out the first pitch. And you know, anchorman, it's in their job description to not be nervous. He admitted he was a little nervous going into this pitch, but he threw it right down the middle, actually hit the corner. I was really impressed. What do you think about his mechanics, Steve?
I'm in favor of them, actually. I think that he should employ as many as possible for the many cars that he does own, Chuck. As far as the pitching mechanics, I think he's got to work a little bit and then retire.
But you think he should keep going for a while?
Absolutely. Hope springs eternal in pitching mechanics, Chuck.
He was wondering, he came on our pregame show and he was wondering if he should go on the mound or not. And then when I started asking him about his playing career, if you want to call it that, the answer he was giving me was that he should definitely not pitch from the mound.
Yeah, I think that was a good choice. Looking at that first pitch, I think the closer the better applies in that case. But that's not his job, and he does his job very well.
He does. And he'll be doing the show from Chicago at 5:30 tonight on NBC.
There you go. Lester should have gotten the advice that I was given a couple years ago from Ken Levine, who used to do play-by-play for the Mariners, among others. Ken, who was invited to Albuquerque to throw out a first pitch at an Isotopes game, him being the creator of the name of the AAA team, the Albuquerque Isotopes, through The Simpsons. He went out and he threw the first pitch, and he was nervous, and it wasn't a very good first pitch, and he said, look, I don't have much advice for you. However, if anyone ever asks you to throw out a first pitch, say no.
It's not easy, and it does cause a little stress.
Yeah. Everybody's watching. 2-2. Foul ground, first base side. Bell is there. Sox fans, join us as the White Sox take on the Texas Rangers Thursday, May 17th at 7:10 p.m. First 10,000 fans get a free Ricky's Boys Don't Quit t-shirt presented by the Village of Bedford Park. Bring your business home to Bedford Park and win big. Get your tickets today at whitesox.com or call 866-SOX-GAME.
So if you're going to decide to pop one up today, it's not good to pop it up to the right side because that wind that's howling out toward left field is going to push it back in the field of play. If you're going to pop it up to the left side, the wind is going to take it into the seats. So if you have the ability to do that, well, then you wouldn't be here anyway. But if you did, it'd be a good time to do it.
Well, there are a couple reasons you wouldn't actually be here. Number one, you'd be putting on some sort of carnival with that skill. And number two, who wants a guy who's intentionally popping the ball up?
Well, sometimes a foul ball is your best ball if the pitcher's making some real good pitches, and so far both pitchers have thrown it very well.
You could see the wind, though, on that foul ball. Bell was 10 steps behind Diaz, who was at the dugout railing and thought the ball was going to be there. Over second base, and Daniel Polka has a one-out hit.
Daniel picks on a fastball, drives it up the middle, and turns it into gold. High leg kick, gets some hang time, and drills it. Trevor Williams this year on non-fastballs, so his secondary pitches, which include his slider, mostly in a straight change, has the highest line drive rate of any starting pitcher in the major leagues. The average is a little over 21%. He's averaged just under 36% line drives on non-fastball pitches. Now, he is a fastballer. He will throw that the majority of the time.
So here's the strange thing about that. He's got that high line drive rate, but he is 5th in Major League Baseball in lowest average exit velocity allowed by a starting pitcher.
He's got some deception with that fastball because the fastball is not overwhelming, and yet guys just don't see it very well. It's hard to square up. He will throw inside, and that's an attribute, because if you're going to throw sliders, as he does, and changeups, which he does, you have to establish the inside part of the plate. The difficult part is going inside if you're behind, because then hitters take it. You got to go inside when they're forced to swing. Then they'll expand that zone a couple inches inside. That means you're going to crack a bat.
And you're going to end up with a line drive, but more of a looping line drive than anything. 1-2 to Matt.
Williams, a big man at 6'3", 235. Originally a second-round pick of the Marlins, so he was really highly thought of.
Strike 3, first punch out for Williams, who is a San Diegan. He was raised in San Diego. Here's his first strikeout.
Elevates that fastball, little cut action on it. It doesn't have the traditional straight backspin of the four-seam fastball. That one he threw pretty much off to the side a bit, and you saw the spin, which looked like a cutter spin, only it's got the velocity of a fastball. And because he drops the ball behind him a bit, he has deception. Guys just don't pick it up out of his hand until it's on the way.
Want to know on Tim, who has some designs of being an Iron Man this year and being in the lineup every day for the Sox. Anderson drills it. Left field. Warning track. Whoa! Gone!
That was a lucky home run, giving him 7-11 on his power numbers. Our Ford home run replay. We told you about the wind. You get it up in the air, and that was a slider that didn't slide. And Williams knows when you throw it on the inside part of the plate, it's going to go. And go it did. So an early lead, courtesy of Tim Anderson.
And with that home run, another generous donation from the Alex Snellius family in loving memory of Ursula. And Tim Anderson and Daniel Palka doing their Rock'em Sock'em Robots bit. Every pair in that dugout seems to have a different dance or handshake.
It takes a while to coordinate that. I mean, it takes extra time.
You would think so, but Palka's only been here, what, 2 weeks?
Yeah, but that's more than enough to work on that.
To shortstop and Jordy Mercer, who does get the final out of a lucrative second inning for the Sox. Tim Anderson with his 7th home run, and this was a no-doubter, 2-2.
To a point as the next White Sox authentic fan of the game, someone who's with this team through thick and thin and never misses a game. Do you have what it takes? If you do, enter at NBCSportsChicago.com/White Sox AF.
How often do you see it? A player gives Lester Holt a jersey before the game and then hits a home run in the second inning.
More than you'd think.
Yeah, I agree. It's popping up a lot these days. Tim Anderson did that very thing, and it's 2-0 Sox.
Well, I felt and talked to Tim about it that he was going to hit 25 this year, and maybe he'll hit more, especially as the weather heats up.
Does he agree?
I think he feels that he can do that. I think he feels that he's strong enough, and now that he's starting to know what pitchers are doing with him, I think he's going to be able to do it. I think also what he wants to do is become a great shortstop. Not just a great hitter, because he's got a chance to be very good and a chance to be very strong. I think he wants to improve the defensive aspect of the game, and he's going to do that too because he works very hard to do it.
Here he is on the second base side of his position for out number 1. Rough news for a young player in the Sox system. Former first-round pick Jake Berger last week re-tore his Achilles tendon, so 10 weeks of progress in terms of his rehabilitation have gone by the wayside. Just yesterday he had a repair of that surgery, and so according to Rick Hahn, Sox general manager, who spoke before the game today, there should be no restrictions after the 12 months, but the 12 months clock restarts as of that surgery. So Jake lost 10 weeks in his rehab, and we certainly wish him the best. A great kid who's really had a rough go of it.
Well, unfortunately, he's at the point now where he needs at bats, and he's not going to be able to get them. He's going to lose better part of a year and a half, maybe longer. You never know when he's going to start swinging a bat. So we hope that he does recover as quickly as possible. I mean, he was so highly thought of in a position that Sox could certainly use, power hitting third baseman. And it's just going to take some time. When he comes back, let's hope he comes back to stay, and then he puts this behind him, and his body will hold out the rest of the way. He's a strong kid.
That was fouled just below us and popped in the air. And honestly, if you gave it a run, you might have been able to reach out and grab it on the second bounce.
Yeah, I would think that'd be a little difficult here, because falling out of the booth would not exactly make my Wednesday, especially when it's dollar hot dog day.
That would be the worst part of it, yeah, that you couldn't buy a hot dog for $1.
That's
after pitching forward into the crowd.
Would be tragic.
Well, you were a great pitcher.
Well, I don't know about that exactly, but I had my moments. But pitching forward over the rail, that almost happened a time or two. That wasn't good.
3 balls and 2 straight. Wait, it almost happened a time or two?
Yes.
When?
In Philadelphia. Actually, the legendary Harry Carey knocked me most of the way out of the booth. And as we came back for a live open, I was fighting for my life.
Congratulations for making it.
Boy, I'll tell you, it was a startling occurrence.
But here you are in the flesh, intact.
None the worse for wear, and not leaning out over the booth any longer. So
all you have to do to reach the ball is just.
I'm saving that for you. I've had my share of souvenirs over the course of the years, and so.
Thank you so much.
One almost got you up here, though.
That's tipped into the glove. Strike 3. Third punch out for Lopez, who is coasting today so far.
Ronaldo's just got great stuff. I mean, if you just look at the stuff and forget about everything else, he's top of the rotation stuff. I mean, when you can throw 98, you have the life on the fastball that he has, a changeup is your second best pitch, and a slider that's improving just about every outing, you'd say to yourself that he's in pretty good shape, in line to be a quality top of the rotation starter.
2 down for Mercer. First pitch hunting again. Pirates have been aggressive so far in the game and have nothing to show for it yet. 9 up, 9 down for Reynaldo Lopez. Bottom 3 coming. You think we already had it?
No,
You don't?
I believe that it's coming, although certainly Tim Anderson was thrilling. If the Pirates keep swinging at the first pitch and keep making the contact they're making, which is almost no contact, I would think that moment would come in the 9th inning for Lopez, but we'll have to see how that plays out.
We were talking yesterday about the day when there were 2 no-hitters. It was 1990. Dave Stewart did it dayside, and then Fernando Valenzuela, somebody asked him, what do you think of that? And he said, who knows, there might be a second one, and there was. Rodriguez to first, and 1 away. Time now for the Guaranteed Rate Farm Report. Charlotte underway and done. 4-1 over the Stripers of Gwinnett. Charlie Tilson 2 for 5. Dylan Covey just 1 earned run, 9 strikeouts, and 6 1/3.
Good ball game. Looks like it was played in rapid dispatch.
Yes. 10:30 Eastern time. First pitch.
I like that start.
You want to do it all the time?
I would think that would be really good. It's good for. It's really good for Chicago and the Chicago restaurants.
For lunch and dinner.
For either.
What was the earliest start time you ever had?
I don't know if we ever played a Patriots game in Boston or not. That's an early start time.
2 down.
Well, apparently the Southside Hitmen, of which I was a member, started a game at 10:30 in the morning. And Jim Spencer, the fine first baseman, known for his defensive wizardry, muscled up and drove in 8 runs that day. So I would say that's about as early as it gets. 10:30 would be about the time. And of course, those lovely uniforms were on full display at 10:30.
In all their resplendence.
Yep. Some of the players of that era were just coming in at that point, so they came right to the ballpark and got ready for the ball game.
It was an unforgettable day.
Yes.
1 ball, 1 strike for Abreu from Williams. Mentioned he grew up in the San Diego area. He went to the powerhouse Rancho Bernardo High School. Cole Hamels, Hank Blaylock, also alums of Rancho Bernardo.
Pretty consistent weather, actually.
Oh, how do people leave there?
Nice neighborhood, too.
First base line and fair. Over the bag for Jose, who's gunning it for 2. And Polanco is a little bit late. So a 2-out double for Abreu.
We'll take another look, and he doesn't get a whole lot of this, but took it right inside the line. No chance for Bell at all. He was playing off the line, and Jose thinking about 2 bases. He realizes Polanco's got to go to the line, and Jose easily in at second base. Watch it again, and not recommended to hit it with your left foot, but sometimes that's where the footwork gets you. He caught the outside of the bag with his outside foot.
Here's Nicky. Today's one of those days where it's share your napkin with your friend across the ballpark day.
There's going to be a whole lot of that. And you got to anchor just about everything down. Especially some of the papers here in the booth.
And your smaller friends.
Yes. That was a good change, and had Nicky swinging at the delivery as opposed to the baseball. Infield shifted on him. But Moran can't usually play a straightaway shortstop, which is normally what they do. He's playing close enough to the bag where if Jose decides to take off, at least they're going to have a shot at him.
One and 2 on Nicky. Think about the path Nicky took, bouncing from organization to organization, had some dark times in there, and now is the everyday left fielder for this Sox team for the most part.
We sort of noticed last spring that he was a good enough hitter to be able to play.
And he finds a crease here. Nicely done by Mercer to keep it near the infield. Jose didn't know, and he is out. Ball didn't have enough juice to get to the outfield. Delmonico ran into Bell coming down the first base line, and we'll see if they're okay.
We'll take another look at it, and Nicky not seeing where Bell was, and I don't know what Bell was doing, but Bell really caused that crash. Nicky appears to be okay, but Josh Bell got in the way. As Nicky's looking at the play and trying to see if the ball got through, Jose did not see it get through, and they cut him down at the plate. Nicky appears to be okay, and they're still looking at Bell, so we'll take a break and be back. Lottery party at Weathermark Tavern. Watch live reaction to the lottery with Mark Shanowski, Kendall Gill, and Will Perdue. Plus enter for a chance to win a pair of tickets to the 2018 Bulls home opener and more.
Breaking ball for a strike from Reynaldo Lopez, who's seen 9 batters. 9 up, 9 down for Lopez so far this afternoon. Adam in center field is there for out number 1. Here's what you can win in Sox Math today, including a roll of orange tape.
You can certainly win that. You can also win a schedule if you like to find out where the Sox are going to be at any given time. That's on there. It appears that the gnome has departed.
Well, he's in his box.
Actually, he's not, but it's a nice thought, because if he was, then he'd be broken now, and he's not. So, yeah, he's gone. But maybe he's out going to the concession stands and getting my favorite, one of those dollar hot dogs.
Did you come from a broken gnome?
Jeez, it's too early for that. This is a day game, isn't it?
It's true. Dollar hot dog day is a beaut.
Oh, it's a great day.
You want one? I'll get you one right now.
Well, there's another aspect to the dollar hot dog day, which are excellent, might I add. But there's also the $6.50 hot dog, the special Vienna beef hot dog with a firm casing. They're actually $2.50, so you get a huge discount on it. Those are wonderful dogs. My favorite, as a matter of fact. You know, I could eat 6 or 8, but
put them on layaway for Friday or Saturday.
Well, yeah, but they'd have to send them across town, as we do take on the Cubs across town this weekend. That should be entertaining.
It should.
if the weatherman permits, which would be very nice.
That would be tremendous. 3 day games. As this ball is into right field. Polanco with a 1-out single. Here's your Sox Math question. You better be quick because this is an easy one today. Hashtag Sox Math on Twitter. First correct answer wins a prize off the shelf.
8.
Runs the teams combined for last night, plus the runs the Sox scored in the first inning last night. Can you beat C-squared 12?
Well, you should be fast.
You were.
I wasn't accurate, but I was fast.
You were fast and wrong.
It's usually the case.
Look for Steve's license plate, FSTNRNG, fast and wrong.
I wish I knew what my plate was, actually.
Here's Marte, who struck out in the first.
First base runner sometimes causes some problems, especially with young pitchers. Veterans don't mind it very much, but young pitchers sometimes have just a different feel on the mound after they coast along. It was 10 up, 10 down, and now you have a base runner who can steal a base also.
Really, where does your mind go when you're trying to put something behind you on the mound?
It's not that it goes any place specifically. It's just that your attention is divided between rolling right along, and all of a sudden you have another component, and that is a runner at first base. Especially a guy who will occasionally steal a bag. Polanco will never be a prolific base stealer. He's got long strides. It takes him a while to get going. He's 2 out of 3 in stolen bases. So this team has a couple of guys that will run on occasion. Dickerson, one of those guys, and we talked about Marte, who is the consistent speed virgin.
Lopez snares it. Garcia covers and turns, and Davidson can't make the pick. Sox will get 1 out, and Bell will bat here in the 4th.
Ronaldo did a nice job of taking his time, making a good solid throw. That part was good. This part not so good. That's a double play that should have been turned and wasn't, so you give Pittsburgh another out this inning. Ronaldo goes up, again takes his time, makes a good solid throw, and Davidson cannot pick it. That would have been a tough play. And so the Pirates will see Bell come to bat this inning with a runner at first instead of leading off next inning.
Quick dispatch from the minor leagues. Eloy Jimenez has a couple of doubles today. That's 9 straight games with at least 2 hits. So
He's something.
How about that guy?
Yep.
Seven home runs his last 16 games.
Marte looking for his 10th stolen bag. And he's got a very good lead at first.
Lopez a glance over there. And no go from Marte.
Outfield playing Bell as an off-field hitter. The big gaps in right center field and down the line in right.
Fate inside, 2 balls and no strikes.
I want to be careful with changeups here. I know that's how we got him pretty much the first time up in the 2nd inning, but with the defense the way it is, you get careless with a changeup and it goes down the line in right field.
On Jimenez with the 9 straight games with at least 2 hits. The major league record is 13. Not that a AA record is the same as a major league record, but in case he decides to do that when he gets up here to the majors, you know that 13 is the record, and Rogers Hornsby owns that.
I think the Sox fans are going to be delighted by the way this young man can hit.
We already saw it in spring training. He talks his way into a game against the Cubs and homers.
Yeah, we did that when he had 1 at bat. It was the 8th inning, and then started out the next day with what, a homer and a triple in his first 2 at bats. The next game, which is the game he was scheduled to start anyway, but he put the Sox on top in that ball game with his 8th inning home run. It was a 2-run shot from a 1-run deficit to a 1-run lead.
Looks like the attention Marte has drawn over at first has, as you said, divided the focus of Reynaldo Lopez.
Wouldn't be surprised if Clint Hurdle, a hitter himself, would give Bell the 3-0 green light, even though his best hitter is up next in Dickerson.
There it was, and it's foul, 3-1.
You get a manager who is a pitcher, you're probably not going to see that too often. You get a manager who was a hitter, you will see it. And Clint Hurdle, who's managing his second go-round, he was with Colorado and did a great job there. Talked about the guys who helped shape him as a major league manager. Gave special notice to Jim Leyland. He said technically in the course of a game, very few people could manage it like Jim Leyland.
That's ball 4. Throw doesn't matter. 2 on, 2 out, and Dickerson coming up. Enjoy Guaranteed Rate Field just like a player. Play catch in the outfield, warm up in the bullpens, visit the dugouts, and much more. Take your experience to the next level and purchase a premier ticket that includes hitting in the batting cages. Join us Family Field Day Saturday, May 12th, and support Chicago White Sox charities. To purchase your tickets, visit whitesoxcharities.org. So Dickerson, who's driven in a run in 9 of his last 12 games, gets a plum spot to do that here. Right-hand side. Garcia is there to make the catch. Pirates strand 2, Sox lead by 2.
Where you serve or when you served, we stand ready to serve all military families.
And we are back to Guaranteed Rate Field. Thanks for joining us. He's Steve Stone. I'm Jason Benetti, our entire crew. As the Sox lead the Pirates. Some folks bringing their loved ones to the ballpark, enjoying the day. The sun's been out for most of it, which is nice. Trevor Williams with strike number 1 to Wellington Castillo. And Trevor Williams, we mentioned he grew up in San Diego. His father, Richard, is actually from Chicago. And the reason you should think about maybe rooting a little bit more against Trevor Williams as Castillo singles off him. His dad, Richard Williams, was a big Cub fan, and so he cut school in 1970 for like a week straight so he could get to see Ernie Banks' 500th home run. But the reason you would want to root for Trevor Williams, even though he's playing against the Sox, is his dad, Richard, in 2016 had been diagnosed with advanced lymphoma.
Didn't think he was going to make it.
60 to 90 days to live.
That's all they gave him at that point.
And now he is completely in remission.
It's a really wonderful story.
Polka hits it well. Left center field. Out of here. Strike up the music. Daniel Polka makes it 4-0.
Daniel took it to the right spot. You get it up in the wind tunnel. Not that he's not strong enough to hit it out anywhere, but this was a no-doubter. Opposite field and gone. All Frazier could do is look up. And our Ford home run replay. This is a fastball. It's low and away. Normally you would say that's a good pitch, but not today. Not a good pitch. And gone. Up in the wind tunnel, and it continued to go until he rode it out. Sox have doubled their lead. 2 two-run homers.
And a warm embrace. Oh, a very warm embrace. It's a very close clubhouse. Strike one to Davidson.
Sox just looking for a win.
That's true. Nothing in 2 on Davidson. Chuck, what do you have on Nicky?
Yeah, well, Nicky obviously went out and continued playing after having that collision with Bell at first base. However, they were working on him here in the dugout for a little bit. Herm Schneider was watching him walk. He seemed to be in some pain as he walked, and just a moment ago, right before that Polka home run, he walked into the clubhouse, has not come back. Signs are pointing to him not returning in this game.
It's not good news. Chuck, thank you for the report. And we'll see what the Sox do defensively. Trace Thompson is on the bench, and there's the change as we see it right now. I mean, that is live on the scene. Here's what you're going to see.
Looks like Leary's going to left field.
And Rondon is going to be in the 4 position. That is subject to change, of course.
I would think so.
How often do you see that?
Yeah,
a live lineup change.
Yeah, I mean, certainly Bruce can cover second base, but maybe the range would be limited.
To third and foul. "17 balls, 37 strikes for Williams.
This is not a good day to throw fly balls.
Oh, no.
And so far, Lopez has kept the ball in the infield for the most part. That's the reason why it's scoreless through 4.
Another long at bat for Davidson. 7 pitches this time. Ball 4, Davidson with his 19th walk. And it's time to party at the park this season. From a pregame patio to the fan deck, White Sox party areas are perfect for hosting groups of 10 to 1,000. For more information, 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com.
So Diaz goes to the mound largely to calm down his young right-hander, but also perhaps the bullpen has started to stir somewhat. We'll see if Clint Hurdle decides to get somebody up and throwing. That
Matt Davidson walk, by the way, has tied his career high in walks We're in the second week of May. He wanted to have better plate discipline. He's shown it so far this year, and it continues.
How about that? You know, you hear so often coming out of spring training or even in other sports, hey, I want to work on this year, I work on that. And very quickly, Matt Davidson implemented the new version of him at the plate this season, like right from the jump.
If you go through a situation where you're not swinging at pitchers' pitches, eventually you're going to get the pitches that you can drive. And we've seen that a lot more this year with Matt than in years past. So as he's gotten older, he's understood what guys have done with him. Look, to the time that he signed a professional contract, everybody knew that if you get careless with a fastball, middle in, he was going to lose it. But they try to throw him inside, get in under his hands. Now he's taken a lot of those pitches, and it's turning into base on balls.
And eventually that ends up leading to better pitches for you to hit down the road, is what you're saying.
That's what has to happen, especially if you don't get yourself out on the pitcher's pitch.
Steve, we have a special delivery for you after this pitch. The Gnome has decided to buy you a hot dog.
I think it's
this?
wonderful. Wait a second.
Yeah.
Well, I get the Gnome is terrific, and the dog. The dog is great. Put the Gnome here. Show you the dog. Wow. This is terrific. What a wonderful thing.
What a thoughtful
If you
gnome.
like sauerkraut, I will give you the sauerkraut. You can't have any of the hot dog. But sauerkraut, I can see my way clear to give you.
How generous.
Thank
Here's a plate of sauerkraut. Fouled away. We do have a really good question from the truck. Where did the Gnome put the dollar for the hot dog?
It's a handsome dog. Very good looking.
Very, very good. Two balls and two strikes. Tim sprays it foul again. Here's your Sox Math winner, a new winner, first time winner.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Jay Lazowski, 14. 16 runs total, 4 runs in the first. That's 20. Easy enough.
Kind of surprised if you made it as easy as it is, being a midweek quiz and all.
That's the end of the series. Off day tomorrow.
Okay. Like that, certainly.
It's relaxing. 2-2. Another foul ball.
Williams probably realizes that Matt Davidson is not a candidate to steal a base. Would you think?
I would imagine
Because
so.
he's spending a great deal of time in the stretch instead of going right at Tim Anderson. Trying to get his concentration back. Seven hits so far, not through the fourth inning yet. To go with those 4 runs on the 2 two-run homers.
Fouled a good pitch off there.
That was a good job of staying alive, because that was a slider low and away, a perfect pitcher's pitch, and Tim was able to go out and get it. If you're looking inside, you pull off this ball and the at-bat is over. That's just a great job of reaching out, knowing the pitch was too close to take, not leaving it in the hands of John Tumpane, and keeping the at-bat alive for another pitch. Last year, he does not stay alive on that pitch.
Comes back with a fastball. Tim fouls it away again. Nine pitches, 7 foul balls from Tim Anderson.
Been a lot of long at bats. Pitch number 66 on the way.
This after Ivan Nova threw 51 pitches in last night's first inning. High fastball does the trick. One down here in the fourth.
Williams goes up and out to the strike zone, and he throws it by him.
Saw Diaz before the pitch. He showed a target high, brought it back down, and then brought it back up.
Well, sometimes that's to fool a coach, because many times a coach will give location by saying something. Sometimes it's a first name, sometimes it's a last, sometimes it's a whistle, sometimes it's a clap of the hands, whatever the case may be. But coaches historically have tried to give location. They can't really give pitches so much, but location certainly is easy, especially if a catcher gives you the high target and gets up on his haunches.
So much going on between batter and catcher and pitcher, moment to moment in this game.
Well, that's why it's a beautiful game, because it is a team game, but it's built around the individual confrontation between pitcher and hitter. And then you've got 7 guys behind you, 1 in front of you, that's going to help you get the guy out. And it's a game where if you are successful 30% of the time, you make a great deal of money. Because that means you're a 300 hitter. And 300 hitters historically live in big houses and drive nice cars.
Are you in the baseball player real estate market?
Not any longer, no.
Williams and Engel this time. The pairing. One, two. Adam bloops it foul. Well, the clouds have rolled in, and we have to hope that that doesn't mean anything more than just clouds.
It won't at this point. Supposed to be a little later on, and hopefully we'll move further down as far as the innings are concerned. Still not an official game, as we know.
Rogers got his big radar machine in his office behind home plate. Back-to-back strikeouts for Williams up the ladder. Aw. A cute new White Sox fan.
Young lady who is enjoying partially the concession stands.
Leori Garcia's bounced out twice to second, both early in sequences, and there he goes swinging at the first pitch.
Pirate pen up and going. Stephen Brault.
I believe he is still on his streak of consecutive at-bats to start a career as a pitcher without a strikeout. I think it was 32.
Got me.
It's pretty good.
I would say it is. I don't think I made it through my first game.
Oh, come on.
Seriously. But I did walk my first time up.
How'd that happen?
No idea. I think they released Dr. Steve Arlen of Ohio State fame for walking me that first time.
As they should have.
Yep.
Yeah, Brault is he's 7 for 31, 32 plate appearances, 7 for 31. He is still yet to strike out. That's pretty darn good.
It sure is.
Check swing and a foul. Couple of finals already. Well, one final in Major League Baseball. The Reds beat the Mets 2-1 after the Mets batted out of order in the first inning.
That was their penalty. They had to go 10 innings.
And lose to the Reds. 0-2. That's now the Matt Harvey Bowl. Devin Mesoraco being traded over to the Mets, Harvey to the Reds.
We'll see if he can find the magic in Cincinnati.
That is a really good look. And a Mud Hens hat to boot. Evidently either a Jamie Farr fan or a AAA Tigers fan.
I like the shirt.
Sox are really waiting out Williams here.
Well, Williams, because he stays down most of the time and throws sinkers. When he does go up with the fastball, it's very effective. That's how the 2 strikeouts this inning of Anderson and Engel played out. Let's see if he decides to go back up there with another fastball. That looks like a sinker down and away.
Stayed up. And once again to second base. Garcia's been consistent today. But Daniel Polka with music to boot. 4-0 Sox. Ricky, you're marooned on an island.
I'm marooned on an island. Okay.
You can only take one of your former Pirates teammates.
Holy smokes.
Who you got?
Wow, great question. Mike Quaddy.
Why?
You know, when I was in the Carolina League, he was there as a player coach. Actually, he was one of the guys that he had been around a little bit, and kind of showed me that there's a way of bonding with your teammates. You know, there are a lot of things that, you know, you might avoid. At that time, I was a little more reserved, a little more to myself. But, you know, guys want to know that you're pulling for them and caring for them, and every now and then you got to spend a little time with them. And evidently, I remember spending a little time with him one night, and I guess I was pretty funny. So I don't know what transpired that evening, but I think we all connected.
Sounds like a memorable night for Ricky.
Mike Quaddy later went on to manage the Cubs.
Serve to center, and is there. Roger will not care about the divots. The Sox will take the out, one away.
Fine play by Adam Engel as he comes on a sinking line drive. For the second time in a row, Diaz hits the ball right on the button, but Adam Engel right there to make the play. Nice job taking it right off the grass. And a quick first out. So Ronaldo very happy with that. When the leadoff man does not get on, it sets up a completely different inning for you.
Whether it should or shouldn't, it certainly does.
Okay, well, you'll have to explain that to me later, but yes.
No, I was just simply saying the idea is to just focus on the next batter no matter what, right?
True, but
in a vacuum, that would be what you'd want as a pitcher.
Yes, and in reality, you don't want him at first base to lead off the inning. So
right, and that's why I said whether it should or shouldn't.
You applaud your defense.
Yolmer is there for out number 2, and with Nicky Delmonico out with a bruised right quad, Garcia moves to left, and Jose Rondon is into second.
Meanwhile, Ronaldo sailing right along. He's only given up one hit. We talked about the difficulty of squaring it up against him. You know, he started with a 2.42 ERA, which is just outstanding for a guy getting a prolonged shot the first time he was afforded a full season shot in the starting rotation, assuming he's going to stay healthy, and so far no problems whatsoever. But he's got just lively stuff. Everything he throws moves. The changeup is very good. The slider has been a work in progress, but when it's around the plate, it's difficult to deal with. And right now he's sawing right through a pretty good Pittsburgh lineup.
Yeah, a really confident offense too. They're down 4-0 yesterday and were undaunted.
This is a team that doesn't strike out very much. And although Ronaldo has fanned 3 of them, that's a radical departure from last time out, where he didn't fan anybody, just the 1 walk and the 1 hit. Outfield very much straight away for Sean Rodriguez, who is their jack of all trades. There is no place he can't play.
A nice asset for a National League team.
He's a very handy man to have around. He's spent a long time with the Pirates. I know Clint Hurdle loves the versatility that he affords them.
He doesn't look terribly comfortable up there against Lopez's stuff.
It's pretty hard to do that, as you see a minimum of pitches each and every inning. 15 pitches in the 4th inning, that's still a very low total. You do that all the time, you're going to go deep into each and every game.
On the ground, Rondon just into the game. Hey, welcome. Nicely played. Still 4-0. Customers say, show me the Chicago White Sox. Into your X1 voice remote and get live team stats on your TV. Change the way you experience TV with Xfinity X1. Coming up in about 10 minutes, we'll be joined by Omar Vizquel, the manager of the Winston-Salem Dash, to talk about the Advanced Day White Sox and a great season so far. They've won 4 in a row, and some great offensive talent, especially down there, along with Dylan Cease, among others.
He's going to be a good one. Very strong arm and good secondary stuff. Those of you who don't know, he came over along with Eloy Jimenez from the Cubs in the Quintana deal. Jose Quintana going to the mound, and his mates have supported him mightily today. Cubs up 9-0 against the Miamis.
To center. Ooh, that was not the most technically sound grab by Marte, but it got the job done. Let's tell you about the Guaranteed Rate Farm Report from Birmingham. Down in the valley so low. 16-3. The Barons with a win. Jimenez with 2 doubles. Sebi Zavala with a home run for the 2nd straight game.
Sebi can really hit.
Oh, yeah.
There's a guy that didn't get that much acclaim, but had a big year last year. We saw him at spring training. He could swing the bat. Anytime you can swing the bat like that, they usually find a spot for you.
On the mound, Jordan Stevens, 6 innings, 8 strikeouts for Birmingham as well. Hey, it's a Barons hat. Behan. Two strikes on Abreu. And he nearly got hit.
Jose Abreu with that double his last time up moved him into a tie for 25th for the most extra base hits in White Sox history at 293. I bring this up because he tied my good friend and colleague Bill Melton.
Oh, wow. Big week for Bill. Gets a t-shirt and then
he's about to be surpassed by Abreu.
Yeah. I don't know which one he likes more. Probably the first. That was a good looking t-shirt, wasn't it, Chuck?
That was a great looking t-shirt. Almost as good looking as Bill.
Is that a compliment?
Well, it was a cartoon, so probably not. But I've still seen some people wearing those here to the park even after the fact. So it's a collector's item for the future for sure.
Oh, yeah. 3-2 fouled away. Jose is just a couple of home runs away from Jim Thome as well for all-time Sox home runs. Jose at 131. Thome at 134. Three and two.
Was that fastball up and in, and Jose could not get his hands out. Now, normally, you'd be looking middle out on the next pitch. We'll see what Diaz has in mind. Williams does have pretty good control, so we'll look in at Diaz. He wants a slider away.
Left it out over the plate and a stab at third for the 2nd out. Moran reels it in.
That was a hanging slider, and Williams is lucky it didn't leave the yard. He crushes his ball. A line drive rocket that was headed for the corner, but Moran said, no, I will catch this one.
Two down for Rondon, who's in for Nicky Delmonico in the 4 spot.
Made a great defensive play to end the inning and now gets a chance to swing the bat. So far, he swung it well.
Nicky was 1 for 2 in the game before he had to come out after the collision with Josh Bell, the Pirates' first baseman, back in the 3rd.
It looked like Bell was hurt more than Nicky was, yet Nicky came out of the game and Bell's still in the game. Bell's a big man. He's 6'3", in the neighborhood of 230, 235, as is Nicky.
Bloop to right. Polanco with those long strides. We're out number 3. It's a 1-2-3 5th for Williams. 4-0 Sox.
Official White Sox MasterCard debit card, only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/Sox to learn more. Wintrust Community Bank, member FDIC.
Reynaldo Lopez with a one-hit game so far, 55 pitches through 5. We told you the Pirates don't strike out a whole lot. They're top 10 in Major League Baseball in terms of amount of strikeouts. They have 3 punch-outs today, 1 walk, and everything else has been a ball in play.
The guy that's hit the ball the hardest has been Elias Diaz. He is the backup catcher. They've got a very good catching platoon system. Francisco Cervelli is the #1 guy. Diaz the #2 guy. They both throw it well. They both receive it well. And they're both hitting.
Foul ball 1 and 2. You know, it's interesting with the Pirates not striking out very much at all. They are #8 in Major League Baseball in amount of swings. Sox swing more than anybody. And the Pirates are in the top 10. So a lot of balls in play from these guys. Typically, and we're seeing it today. That's also part of the reason Lopez is down at 58 pitches through 5. Check swing, no go. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Mercer.
Especially early in the ball game, the Pirates first time through were swinging a lot of first pitches, which is unusual because when you haven't seen a pitcher live, to go after the first pitch, and it could very well be that some of these guys saw him when he was a member of the Washington Nationals, but they're certainly not all that familiar with his stuff. They're finding out today that his stuff is very good.
Two and 2. In the dirt, 3 balls, 2 strikes. So 3 and 2 to Mercer. Where are you going?
Well, you certainly don't want to put him on. I would go with a fastball outer third and see if he can throw it by him. I don't think Mercer's coverage away is what it could be at this point. We'll have to see what Wellington wants. It is a fastball away. Let's see if he can throw it by him.
He went upstairs, and this one is hit well to left field. Garcia has no play. It is gone.
Second hit of the ball game, and that makes it a 3-run game. So just the second home run this year for Mercer. His 11th driven in. And our 4th home run replay. This is eye high, and you saw where Castillo set up. He wanted it low and away and got it up and out. Fly balls to left field are going. This one no exception.
Pirates have their first run after 10 last night, and Frazier takes ball 1.
Can't rest on your laurels with this Pirate team because they're in the top 5 in 4 different offensive categories in the National League, so they can score some runs.
This one to right field. Polka started back, now comes in. And Daniels there for out number 1. Bring your family of 4 to a White Sox game for as low as $49. Our family 4-pack includes 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 chips, and 4 sodas. Upper level and lower level packages available. Check out all the available dates at whitesox.com/4packs today.
I'd like to send along congratulations to the Trolls of Trinity Christian College under Justin Heisman. They won the conference title. Now they go to the NAIA National Tournament. So congratulations to the Trolls. We wish you well.
Who's guarding the bridge?
The Billy Goat.
Little broad review. That ball is drilled by Polanco right field toward the pole and gone.
'20th driven in on the 7th home run by Gregory Polanco, and that one a no-doubter, even into the wind, and that one was into the teeth of the wind. He just absolutely crushed it. But that was right down the middle. Ronaldo used a little too much of the plate, and it cost him. That's a changeup, and apparently Polanco was not fooled by it because he got every bit of it. Forward home run replay is a line drive rocket, and the Pirates have cut the lead in half as that fan sees that one trickle away.
404 on that homer.
404-foot line drive rocket that just exploded off Polanco's bat.
I spent 6 years in AAA, and he is the most fluid, most athletic player I saw at that level, and it's not close.
You get great skills, and when you look at the .216 batting average coming into this ball game, it's somewhat surprising because he is a whole lot better than that.
First time you look at him, you think like Terrell Owens over the middle on a post route, the way he runs.
Look, last year he hit .251. Only drove in 35 runs, and that was in 379 at bats.
Oh, Marte forgot something. There it is.
John Tumpain won't be happy to give him back the bat. Interesting style. When you're fooled by a pitch away, that usually is what happens.
Not to be replicated.
Hopefully not for him. Not going into Tommy Mansky's instructional video.
2 down for Josh Bell. And with 2 out, we're joined on the phone line by Omar Vizquel, the manager of the Winston-Salem Dash. Hi, Omar.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good.
What's
Jason
going on?
Benetti, Steve Stone here with you. What's new in your world? 4 in a row in the win column, huh?
Well, new, yeah, we just playing away here with Winston-Salem. The team seems to be, very enthusiastic. We got some dynamic players, and everybody's really excited about the whole year, and we're just plugging away. We're doing really good.
So, who's the most improved through the course of the first month for you on your team?
Well, I see a guy in center field called Joe Booker, who we had it in spring training, and he got some hits, but right now he's pretty close to leading the lead in hitting. He's doing really well, and it's very hard to keep him out of the lineup. He's doing just about everything right. He's stealing some bases. He's playing some good defense, and everybody in general has picked up the pace. We got some really good players down here, and I think. What I've seen, he's one of the best improved players in spring training.
Omar is a longtime player and a longtime coach. You're now taking the reins as a manager. And what's the biggest difference for you? Because now you're essentially in an executive role. You're dealing and molding young men where you were doing it as a coach, but now you're doing it as a manager. For you, what's the difference?
Well, right now in Single A, there is a lot of young guys that haven't been playing professional baseball for a long time. So it's kind of like an advisor, a teacher, everything that goes to teaching the game the right way. We got to let the guys know how to do that. When you coach in the big league, there is a lot of people that is already prepared to go into a long season, and these guys haven't experienced that yet. So, you got to talk to them about preparation, about how to get out of slump, how to treat the game every day is a different day. Don't get too much confidence when things aren't going right. And I think we're doing a great job. I have a great group of coaches here that can do that. And, we have been talking a lot about these kind of things.
Omar, is there a White Sox way? I know you have different managers, you have different coaches at every level, and, of course, up into the major leagues. Is there an overwhelming philosophy that's going to be known as the White Sox way, permeating its way through the minor leagues?
Yeah, no doubt about it. When we got to spring training, I think Rich Renteria, the manager of course, the Major League team, have a lot of things to say about playing aggressive on the bases, how to bunt and how to run hard every time. And I think all the minor leagues have been taking this mold, and I think we are doing a great job. Ever since the very young player is playing the White Sox way. We have that in present. We are saying that to the players that come in and out of here, and I think it shows through the system the way that we have been playing the game.
What is Dylan Cease doing to put up the big strikeout numbers we've seen from him?
Well, his secondary stuff has been improving a little bit. Everybody knows that he has this fire fastball that goes to 99, 98. But he's working a lot on his secondary stuff. His changeup is getting better. His breaking ball had a better angle. And I think the combine of the 3-4 pitches that he got has made him a very, very exciting guy to see when he takes the mound.
Mike Rodolfo, who does he remind you of?
Mike Rodolfo, he looks like a young Manny Ramirez. You know, he's a guy that can hit the ball with power to all the field, but mainly he doesn't really. I mean, he's not the guy that just a power hitter. He can hit the ball all over the field and obviously to the opposite way. He has been showing some signs that he can be a 3rd or 4th hitter in the big league, and you know, I just love to watch him take batting practice. He hits the ball all over the place.
Does he have to get any stronger, Omar? Because he looks to me like the strongest man in the world now.
No, he's very strong the way he is right now. He just needs to get a little sharper on sliders and stuff like that. Obviously, that comes with experience, but he is on the way there.
How about Basabe? What's different about him this year than even maybe a month ago, or what you've heard about him last season?
Well, I didn't know Basabe when I got here. You know, what I saw in spring training was a guy that can do it all. He can play defense, steal bases, got a great arm. He can hit for average, and he's doing that here. You know, he's been very consistent ever since I saw him in spring training. He's still, I think the biggest way for him is just to try to keep the ball out of the air. He hit a lot of fly balls, and he's working on that a lot, trying to hit the ball the other way, learning how to bunt in different situations, and it's gonna keep him in the game for a long time.
How do you figure out who you're going to put in the outfield every day?
Man, that is the biggest problems I got. I have to be fighting with these guys because I really want to play everybody out there, but they're making my job a lot tougher to what it is. They're all doing a great job, and I have to really give him a day to everyone and talk to them about that everybody has to play. But, you know, it's a very, very hard job when they're doing that.
What about Blake Rutherford? What have you seen from him?
Wow, it's exciting player. He's doing everything right. He's playing some great outfielders. He's stealing bases. He's hitting for average. I think that they want him to hit for a little bit more power, but as far as he's hitting the ball the way he is right now, I wouldn't change a thing.
Omar, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much,
Thanks,
guys.
Omar.
Good luck over there. All right.
Great man, great insight. Omar Vizquel, 4-2 Sox with the lead.
Stephen Brault. He of the no strikeouts and 32 at bats. ERA of 4.60. 2-1 record. There you look at the rest of the numbers. Doesn't strike out a lot of guys. Does not walk a lot of guys. However, he does get the left-handers out. And I think he's being brought in this situation because Williams has had enough at 5 runs 4 runs in 5 innings with 7 hits. So Brault comes in a 2-run game.
Good look with the Sox, by the way.
You gotta like it. You know, baseball is doing something right, and for the longest time I couldn't understand exactly what they were doing as far as the minor leagues were concerned and as far as instructors, because they paid the most to AAA and AA managers as you moved up along. When the key, and I think Omar Vizquel being an A-ball is a great example of that. He's going to be a magnificent manager. He's going to manage in the major leagues. He knows everything about the game. He's one of the smartest guys I've ever been around as it pertains to what goes on in the infield. He was magnificent at it, and he's going to be a great instructor. But for years, the Omar Vizquel type of guy was not paid commensurate with the development in the lower minor leagues.
And that's where you're laying your foundation as Mercer throws to first for out number 1.
Well, that's exactly what it is. I mean, for years, I believe the Dodgers started paying everybody the same, regardless of where they managed, whether it was rookie ball or whether it was AAA ball. But they did that a while ago, and now teams are starting to realize that when you bring young players in, you're getting a lot of guys who are coming from high school. You're getting a lot of guys coming from Dominican Republic, from Venezuela, from all over, from Mexico. And these guys don't have all of the baseball schooling that you really need. So you need great instructors. And the White Sox are doing it really well. Because I talked to Omar about the White Sox way. You can't teach a guy one thing in the low minor leagues, and then when he gets to the major leagues, all of a sudden there's a different system because he's adjusting to one system. And what the White Sox are doing is they're taking their guys, teaching them one system from the time they come into the organization to every level they go into, to the time they get to the major leagues. Hopefully, they will know exactly what's expected of them, and it's headed by your manager. In this case, Ricky Renteria wants guys to be consistently aggressive on the base paths.
How about Daniel Palka's day? The hit waterfall is on again for him after a 4-hit day in Kansas City. He's got 3 here against Pittsburgh.
That time, the opposite field, and nobody home on the left side. You see Moran way off the line, no chance for this one. So left-handers haven't had a whole lot of luck with Brault, but Daniel did.
The other bonus you get out of creating a White Sox way and having it be a distinct one is that if you do it well enough, you become a destination for people. Not only major league free agents, but minor league free agents who want to go through that system.
And also it's known that you have really good instructors at lower levels, because a lot of guys who want to make their career in baseball, they might realize, Jason, that they're not going to be in the major leagues. You know, that's a misconception people have. When they look at guys making a lot of money in the major leagues, they assume that when you're a professional player, you get here. And the reality of it is about 95% of the guys never see a day in the major leagues. So are there some guys that want to make a career in baseball, and you lay a solid foundation of baseball understanding at the lowest levels, it has to help you, whether you become a professional coach or you go to become a college coach or even a high school coach. It's going to help you. And the knowledge you get in the White Sox organization with great instructors up and down this organization at every level, whether it's the roving pitching guys or the roving hitting guys or the managers that they run into, like Omar Vizquel, guys that know the game inside and out and can impart their message to everybody that they run into. Omar's just an example. There's good managers and good coaches throughout this system, and they're getting better and better at it. And
Omar
take a look at those
Vizquel.
numbers.
Yeah, 11 gold gloves.
2,877 hits for a guy that could not hit when he came into the major leagues. It's pretty astonishing. 272 lifetime hitter. He only stole 404 bases. That's pretty good. 1,445 runs. I would say for me that pencils out to a Hall of Fame career, and we'll see how the voters feel.
At strike 3, throw is high, and Daniel Palka swipes second base. First major league stolen base for Daniel Palka.
He's got some speed, and he's a big man as he looks back for contact. There was none, and slides in under a high throw. So a bit of a surprise party. With Ricky Renteria wanting to stay out of the double play, that's more a hit and run situation, depending on the situation you find yourself in, than a straight steal. I'm not sure how many straight steals Daniel's going to have, but That time it turned into gold, and he's in scoring position, and a run that the Sox could use.
Well, you may remember from his days with the Visalia Rawhide.
I remember those.
Oh, back in 2015 in the California League, he had 24 stolen bases.
Yeah, we talked about that when he came up, and you know, he doesn't look like a guy who can run, but he can pick him up and lay him down pretty well. Also, he's got a lot of power.
That year, 24 steals and a grand total of 68 extra base hits. I mean, the California League's a California League. They play some of those games on mountaintops, so the ball flies.
Good hitters league.
Oh yeah,
always was. But still, regardless of where you play the games, if you're stealing bases in the 20s, you're doing a pretty good job of it.
J.R. House was his manager that year. And his pitching coach was Gil Heredia.
Remember Gil?
Yeah. One and two for Tim, who homered in the second, struck out in a long at bat in the fourth. And now on 1-2, swings through, strike three. Polka stranded at second. Will play the seventh after this. Sox take on the Rangers. First 20,000 fans get a Hawk Solo bobblehead presented by TransUnion. Visit WhiteSox.com to purchase your ticket today. And if you've not seen the ad for the Hawk Solo bobblehead, please find it. It's on WhiteSox.com. Hawk is on a large turntable playing Hawk Solo. And there are two questions that come to mind when you watch it. Number one is, how can I watch it again? Number two is, how in the world did they get him to do this?
Nice.
So good job by Matt and his crew.
Meantime, the bullpen is up and going if Ronaldo runs into some problems.
Pitch number 82 for Lopez.
Speaking of Lopez, here he is entering his seventh inning, and he really has been an exception to the rule in Major League Baseball, and that is going deeper into games. And I wanted to get Steve's thoughts on this because Pedro Martinez tweeted last night with more and more pitchers only going 5 innings. He tweeted, in my days, if you pitched 5 innings, it was considered disgraceful or shameful. And then there was Brandon McCarthy, former White Sox pitcher, now with the Braves. He tweeted at Pedro Martinez saying, things have changed. Among the changes is that starters nowadays, for the most part, have to go all out from the very beginning, first pitch. So by the 5th or 6th inning, there isn't much left in the tank. Clearly that has been different with Ronaldo Lopez. He's gone 6 or more innings in 6 of his 7 starts. But Steve, what do you think about this? As the game is changing, starters are changing. They're not going as long as they used to go in games, the method of going all out from the very beginning from a starter, I'm assuming you didn't do that back in the day.
Well, actually, we did, Chuck. I'll explain it to you as soon as this is run down. And you know, Diaz has hit the ball on the button 3 times, only to see Ango catch three drives. But you did go as hard as you can. I mean, they told you to go as hard as you can as long as you can, but we were trained, Chuck, to go as hard as we can and still average over 7 innings per start. I mean, if you could average 6+ innings, you were really helping the ball club, because the more outs you get as a starting pitcher, the less outs the bullpen has to get. And I will agree with both sides of the equation. McCarthy is right. The game has changed. However, guys are talking about 6 starters, Chuck. If you're only going 5 or 5 1/3 innings, 6 starters seems to me to be ridiculous. So if you're going to tell a guy go as hard as you can as long as you can, why not experiment with 4-man rotations, which gives you something you really need? Another arm in the bullpen, because it's become a game that's dominated by good bullpens. We saw what Kansas City did with a great bullpen. It made Ned Yost a push-button manager, and to Ned's credit, he just put him in line to play a 6-inning game, turn it over to his bullpen. He had a 7th-inning guy, 8th-inning guy, 9th-inning guy, and Kansas City won.
Well, Tampa is doing that with the 4-man rotation.
Exactly that. So if you have the 4-man rotation, if guys are going to throw lesser innings, it makes sense to me to shore up your bullpen, get a couple of guys out there who were former starters who really can't fit into the rotation anymore. Look at McHugh winning 19 games a couple of years ago with the Astros. He can't find a spot in that starting rotation. So I think if you're going to do that, let's do it all together. It's tough enough to find 4 starters. Then you try to find 5, and you're not going to find him. That 5th starter, number 1, doesn't get a whole lot of work. He's skipped. It seems to me like this game is evolving, and that's one of the back to the future aspects that we might see.
Well, one of the thoughts too is that we may in a couple years have starting pitchers that are really only by name, that it's 3, 3, and 3. You just line up 3 different guys to eat up 3 innings apiece, and you let them go full bore for 9 outs.
Well, I think we're seeing more experimentation these days, and maybe that's what the game will come to. But I prefer your number 1 guys, and you know, let's take Verlander, who is pitching in this era and pitched in part of the last era also. He transcends wherever he is because he's going to go 7 innings for you. Lopez looks to me like one of those guys, so you're doing him a disservice if you only pitch him 3 innings. I mean, because he can go 6 strong, and he's not going to lose anything off the fastball.
But the idea would be to conserve him for later in the year, make sure there's not a fatigue issue as Yolmer makes a nice jumping grab.
Okay, well, if that's the case, then if guys are bigger, stronger, quicker, and faster than ever before, and they are, because that's quantified,
sure,
then why are there more injuries? Why are guys going through the second Tommy John? Why are arms
because of what you just said,
at an alarming rate?
Bigger, faster, stronger.
Right. And also they're being, I think it's because the stress to put on their arms in the early innings. If that's what the managers or coaches are telling them to, throw hard and go all out from the very beginning. That's basically what Brandon McCarthy was alluding to.
Well, I mean, we always did that because you couldn't conserve yourself, Chuck. You're facing, I mean, when I came in the league and when a lot of pitchers came in the league, you're facing teams with 2 or 3 Hall of Famers. You're going to start conserving yourself. You're going to get knocked out in the 2nd inning, and that's doing nobody any good. So,
but you did withhold some pitches, right, for a later sequence. You didn't show them everything.
Well, I don't think you should do that anyway, regardless of how max effort you are. I know max effort is the big statement today. Let's use max effort. Well, the art is still called pitching. When it becomes throwing, then you should use max effort with all of your pitches. To me, I still think that it's an art. Pitching is an art, and changing speeds is the way to get hitters out. You can sit and throw 102 till the cows come home, and there's a lot of guys who can hit 102. And they can hit 102 consistently. Paul Konerko is one of those guys, but there's great fastball hitters in the league. The changing of speeds is the way you get hitters out. Getting them to rock back and forth, getting them not to understand where the pitch is going to be and what speed it's going to come at.
Well,
That's
I don't
the art
think
of pitching.
anyone's disputing that pitching will remain the case. I mean, pitching is important. Changing speeds. Not everyone's throwing 1 pitch fastball. That's why we have changeups, and people say you need to have a secondary pitch.
Well, 2.
Or tertiary pitch.
Yeah, I mean, very few guys can get away with 2 pitches.
Lopez strikes out Rodriguez. That's 1, 2, 3 in the 7th. Will go to stretch time.
And it's been the defense today behind Ronaldo Lopez, and it's been very good. Diaz has hit 3 balls hard, and Adam Engel has been right there to make all the plays. Then Jose Rondon up the middle, just in the ball game from his knee, a sparkling play. Leary started at second base. Now he's in left field, and Rondon came on as Delmonico left the game. So the defense has been very good.
And the Sox have a 4-2 lead thanks to a 2-run homer from Tim Anderson and same from Daniel Polka. Sox and Pirates will get together again next week in lovely Pittsburgh. PNC, one of the beautiful stadia in America. Let's quiz you on your own career, Steve. Sticks and stone today.
I'll take B. Oh.
Which Pirate had 2 hits against you in Game 4 of the '79 World Series?
Well, let's see. I don't really know.
That's strike 3, 1 away. Good news is you have 3 choices.
Yes. So I'll guess Tim Foley because I can't remember the others. There you go. I'll guess the right-hander.
You're going to guess Tim Foley?
Yeah. I have blacked that out of my mind because I gave up a run at each inning. Retiring Willie Stargell twice. That's how I got out of that.
Suppression is a and repression are magical things.
Well, I was repressed, certainly. But I do remember that
there's a push button.
Actually,
finishing each other's sentences.
A pretty good idea, but the execution wasn't there. It was too hard and played nicely by Bell. But I do remember I thought I slept through the World Series because the first game was snowed out. And it was as cold a World Series I can ever remember. So we'll see the payoff, as it were. Dave Parker. Got it wrong again.
I was hoping it'd be Tim Foley. I had him in AAA as a manager. He's an interesting cat.
I played against him in his first year. He played for Visalia. They were the Mets at that point. He was a fiery little guy.
He is as perceptive. He's borderline crazy in a good way, but he's as perceptive at a batting cage as somebody as I've ever met. He picks out little things with hitters in an exceptional manner, but he's a wild guy.
He is that. He was as fiery as you could get when he was really young and didn't change very much when he got to the major leagues. And I believe Milner was on that team. Was on that team with Foley at Visalia.
Yeah. Oh, on that team, you're saying. Okay. Nice artwork on the arm for Brault. And he strikes out Sanchez. It's a 1-2-3 inning for 2.
Cubs and the White Sox battle for bragging rights. Coverage begins Friday at noon on NBC Sports Chicago. Grace Thompson has taken over in left field on a defensive change. As we move into the 8th inning, Ronaldo Lopez is still around. He's given up 3 hits. 2 of them have left the ballpark. And he's been in command from the start of this game, where he retired 10 straight before giving up a hit to Polanco, who's got 2 of them here this afternoon.
And the other hit for the Pirates is by this guy, a home run from Jordy Mercer in his last at bat in the 6th.
He got a high fastball, shoulder high fastball out over the plate and hit it where you have to, up in the air in left field.
If Lopez gets even 1 out in this inning, it'll be his longest outing of his career. He's 4 times gone 7 innings, and this being the 5th.
And 99 pitches. This is triple digits coming up. Get him out of the strike zone because you're up 0-2. Castillo looks at his hands. Looks like it's going to be a slider low and away.
He got him swinging.
That's a pitch that's going to make Ronaldo a big winner. If he can harness this in this location, it breaks late, it breaks short, and that's Ricky Renteria going to the pen. So he got the out he wanted. A 7 1/3 performance by Ronaldo Lopez. Just leaving 5 outs to go. And Ronaldo Lopez having quite a day today. He's going to get a big hand from the crowd. They really appreciate the effort. Once again, very hard to square him up. And here he comes, getting a standing ovation from the crowd. What a job by Ronaldo Lopez. He'll leave with the lead and turn it over to the pen. And as he walks out, we will step out. We'll be back after these messages. Bank, it's about time, and it's about time to see Jace Fry come on, and he had a good run at AAA. Holding hitters to the low 100s. He's on for the 3rd time.
And he throws strike 1 to the pinch hitter Osuna, who we saw start yesterday in the 8th spot and drive in a run in the 2nd inning. Osuna, the International League Player of the Month for April when he was with AAA Indianapolis. And Ronaldo Lopez, 7 1/3, the longest outing in his career, and he is amped.
And well, he should be, because he was in command from start to finish. Tough day to pitch today because you get anything up in the air and it's leaving the ballpark. So he did a great job. He kept most everything in the infield. Only Elias Diaz really figured him out. He hit the ball on the screws 3 times, only to find Adam Engel right in the way of every one of those line drives. But other than that, Polanco had a good day, and that was about it.
That's strike 3. Jace Fry with an artistic first strikeout.
So just like we promised, it's time for the Miller Lite Hold True moment. And it is on the day of Ronaldo Lopez, and quite a day it was, retiring the first 10 straight. A tough team to strike out, these Pirates are, but not so for Ronaldo today. He changed eye levels. He had a good slider. His straight change was outstanding. Got a standing ovation from a very appreciative crowd. And quite a day overall. So a man who's been swinging it very well now will have to turn around to face the lefty.
29 hits this year for Polanco, 26 of them against right-handed pitching. Breaking ball, no chance to do anything with that. 1-1.
I believe he did induce a walk yesterday from Luis Avilan.
Little bit inside. 2-1. Consistent effort today from John Tumpane behind the plate. Well done.
He did a nice job. Whenever you see hitters and they don't look back and catchers don't look up, you know the umpire's done a great job. That was a good fastball inside, setting up what should be a breaking ball here to end the at bat.
Where do you want it?
I want to strike with it. There's a look at John, who's had a nice day in this, the finale of this abbreviated 2-game series, then the off day tomorrow, before we head to the north side and entertain the Cubs.
Just barely got a piece, still 2-2.
They went with the fastball, and the fastball was 92. So Jace, who's had some arm issues during the course of his career, seems to have put everything together in AAA. Faced 24 hitters. There were 3 for 24 against him, and that will usually get you a call to the major leagues, especially if you're a left-hander who can get it over the plate. Another fastball inside.
And that'll do it. Fry a couple of strikeouts. Lopez got one too. They struck out the side together, and it's 4-2. Layla, thank you. Sox are up 4-2 over the Pirates, and some changes for Pittsburgh, including a new pitcher.
Richard Rodriguez comes in the game, and he's been brilliant. Out for the 9th time. You're going to like his stuff. Left-handers certainly don't, hitting 167. Opponents hitting 233 overall. Some defensive changes. Sean Rodriguez moves to left field. We told you he was a jack of all trades. And Max Moroff has taken over at second base.
Jose Abreu takes ball one. Richard Rodriguez was a strikeout machine in his last outing. That's not to say anything for what he's done in his prior outings as well, in which he's been a strikeout machine. But 7 batters faced Sunday, 6 strikeouts.
And that's without an overwhelming fastball, as this one goes behind the head of Jose, who gets out of the way quickly. Tried to throw a breaking ball, it didn't break.
Jose to right. Polanco.
There has to be a whole lot of deception as far as Rodriguez goes, because that fastball is not overwhelming, and yet he is a prolific strikeout pitcher. That's usually the case of the hitter just not picking up the baseball. And look, a pitcher standing 60 feet 6 inches away when he takes his stride, which is let's call it 5 feet. So now he's 55 feet away from you, and if you can't see the baseball, you're going to have a big problem making contact. And again, you know, at 92, 93, that's about what he throws. It just gets on the hitter in a hurry, and they can't pick it up.
Yeah, that was 93 down the middle.
Yeah, I mean, that's what he does. That's what he's done all year long. When you look at 21 strikeouts in 11 innings, you just have to shake your head, because usually that's reserved for a guy with a phenomenal trick pitch, like a great splitter, or an exploding slider, or a guy that throws 100 miles an hour, and that's not the case at all with Rodriguez.
Through chicanery. Strikes out many.
That's it.
Would like to get a run here because the Pirates have Marte, Bell, and Dickerson coming up in the 9th.
And Nate Jones, one of the guys throwing in the pen.
To third, that's a fair ball. Rondon to the corner and on his way to second. He thought about third and then figured that discretion was the better part of valor. It's a 1-out double.
And I think Jose also thought about breaking it down and conceding the double, and then realized that a Ricky Renteria team, you don't break anything down and you don't concede anything. You go and you get it, and you think 3 until they stop you at second, and this ball rattles around. Rondon started to slow up by second base and then took an aggressive turn, thinking if the ball is mishandled, he could wind up at third base. If you do that with 1 out, it forces the infield in at all 4 positions, which is a tremendous advantage for Wellington Castillo. First career double. Congratulations for Jose Rondon.
Now Wellington, see if he can drive him in. 4-2 Sox thanks to a 2-run homer in the 2nd from Tim and a 2-run homer in the 4th from Daniel Palka.
There is the pen. Aaron Bummer and Nate Jones.
And switch pitcher in the middle, Kurt Hassler.
And the tallest of all of them, Kurt Hassler. It's like 6'7".
To right field. Polanco back in the warning track. He can't make the play. Rondon had to hold up. He's on his way home anyway. And it's 5-2. Insurance from Wellington in the 8th.
Wellington has hit double digits as he takes this ball the opposite way, and only the wind blowing in briskly from right field kept this in the park. Gregory makes a nice effort, but the ball ticks off the glove. And it's a 3-run lead. Very nice.
Wellington starting to heat up now on an intentional walk to Daniel Palka. With Davidson coming up, they want the righty-righty matchup with the way Rodriguez throws. So 1st and 2nd, 1 out, Davidson will back. Congratulations to Daniel Palka on that intentional walk. His first.
Keeps his perfect day intact.
He's only 687 away from Barry Bonds. and takes a strike. That could be a very big run.
There's no doubt about it. It certainly takes a little pressure off the pen. That way you get one man on, you're not facing the tying run.
Breaking ball 0-2. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live or on demand at home, in the office, or on the go with MLB.tv. Your subscription includes MLB At Bat Premium, allowing you to watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. So back-to-back doubles for the Sox here in the 8th to take a 5-2 lead and try to build on that.
Messed up ideas. He's had a good day behind the plate and a good day swinging the bat despite 0 for 3 to show for it.
A parasol.
Coming in handy for the occasional sunshine and no precipitation at all. Plus it hasn't rained.
Never gets old. 2-2. Strike 3, fastball at 94, and 2 down. It's up to Tim. Sox will be off tomorrow, and then 3 straight 1:20 start times at Wrigley Field. Fulmer, Shields, and Giolito, the scheduled starting pitchers in that series against Chatwood, Lester, and Hendricks. Cubs will, it seems, be on a win streak going into that series. They are dousing the Marlins today, 12-1. Cleveland's back to 500, beating Milwaukee 6-2. Complete game, Carlos Carrasco. Who says the complete game's dead?
You and Chuck.
I did not.
Oh, okay. I thought I misheard that.
I said that teams may lean toward 3 pitchers eating up 3 innings apiece. Some teams.
Yes.
That doesn't mean you shouldn't have guys go complete game. I was just giving the rationale for why you might take them out early.
Yeah.
There's a difference between making the argument
and then what?
Passionately defending the argument. To center field, Sox do get a run. Castillo drives in Rondon. It's 5-2 to the 9th.
the American Sale Fan Cam. Bring the fun home.
Great to see new Sox fans.
And Nate Jones comes into the ball game on for the 14th time. He's 1 out of 2 in save opportunities. This is one of those. He's 2-0. His ERA in the low 2s. He's got 3 runs to play with.
First, Marte, and he takes ball 1. Pirates got 2 solo homers in the 6th. Jordy Mercer, Gregory Polanco. And those the runs for Pittsburgh this afternoon. It's not a great start. Marte bounces a single to center. Let's get one of them there double plays.
Nate Jones has 4 career saves, and he hasn't had that many opportunities. He's going to get the opportunities now. This is the time to show Don Cooper, Ricky Renteria, that he can indeed close down games. He's got the stuff to do it. There's no doubt about that.
Bell rips it to right, and the tying run is going to come up to the plate. Marte to third. Hey, Sox fans, you win with Papa John's Pizza all season long. The day after the Sox win, you get 50% off your entire online order of regular menu priced items. Only at papajohns.com when you use promo code SOXWIN. Valid at participating Papa John's locations. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. So Corey Dickerson, who had 4 hits last night, is 0 for 3 today. Double play still in order. You'd trade the 2 outs for a run, certainly.
Dickerson's only grounded into 2 double plays. The third would be welcome.
To third base, Yolmer for out number 1. Bell to second.
Good job of looking back Marte, and that was a squibber off the end of the bat. Yolmer only had 1 play, but he made sure that he froze Marte before he went to first base. Marte thinking about going home, and Yolmer takes a look, make sure that he's stationary before he pours it across.
Really no reason to go home there.
No, because your run is meaningless at this point.
How do you think that makes him feel?
I think pretty good, especially getting his first hit of the day after a couple of strikeouts.
Second and third, 1 out, and Diaz, who's hit the ball on the screws a couple of times today.
That's the real scary part, is his stroke is very well grooved, but he doesn't run well.
Marte at third, Bell at second. And a flail for strike 2.
Looks to me like he hits the fastball very well, but doesn't like the slidey at all. So I think 1 more should be forthcoming.
Oh, 2. They tried for it, and Diaz got a piece.
Willington calls for another slider after a high slider that Nate just threw. He's probably going to try to bury one, and then the pressure will fall to him to make sure that he blocks it. You see Moran in the on-deck circle. He's waiting for his turn.
Diaz to right field, and this is in the corner and fair. It goes over the wall on a bounce. The Pirates get a couple of runs. It is 5-4.
Looking as bad as he looked on the slider, you wonder why a fastball was forthcoming, but a fastball was, and he took it right down the line. There's the fastball, there's the double, there's the tying run at second base, and there's 2 runs in.
Now you've got the left-handed Moran with Diaz on his first double. And Castillo goes out to talk to Nate Jones. Yolmer's coming too. 3rd mound visit for the Sox in the game, and might as well bring everybody in. Sox got that run in the bottom of the 8th. Wellington Castillo drove in, and suddenly that's the decider. And the dirt, ball 1.
Pittsburgh pen is up and going. It's Vasquez and Feliz. We saw both yesterday, both hard throwers. It's Nate Jones against the world. Ricky Renteria giving him the opportunity to try to nail this down.
That's crushed. Right center field. And the Pirates take the lead in the 9th.
That slider is right down the middle, thigh high. And Moran hit his 3rd home run. And he's now driven in 19. And the Pirates, who were down in this game the entire day, take the lead. And there's a slider that's right there. 4th home run replay. Moran knows exactly what to do with it. Even into the wind, he crushes this ball. Honka runs out of room, and the Sox run out of the lead.
Second comeback in 2 games for the Pirates. And there's strike 1 on Rodriguez. As we look ahead now to the home 9th, Engel, Thompson, and Sanchez coming up. We told you this Pirate offense is a very confident group, a never say die sort of group. They've shown it here in the 9th.
And there's Colin Moran, the man who put the Pirates on top, but there's been 4 hits in the inning. There's a lot of folks that believe if you can get people out in the 7th and 8th inning, there is no reason to believe you can't get them out in the 9th, and yet it's one of the most difficult jobs on the baseball field. Not because of you're facing different hitters, because obviously you're going to face middle hitters, you're going to face down order hitters, you're going to face top of the order hitters. It's just the psychology of trying to nail it down when there's nobody behind you. When you are the last guy coming out of the pen and they hand you the ball and said, it's your job now, go get them. We've seen lots of setup men in the history of baseball fail as closers. Nate Jones hasn't had that many opportunities, and it's way too early to say that he can't do it. It's just that it's a different mindset, and it's not easy. And it's something that a lot of people can't do. We've seen a lot of guys throw in the 7th and 8th and they thrive, come to the 9th inning, and then there's nothing doing. Nate still has the stuff to be able to do it. This day, an exception. And if he gets the opportunity and gets used to that mindset, he can do the job.
Well, not everybody thrust into the closer role is good at it immediately either.
No, and that's why you gotta give him an opportunity. We know that Soria has done it in the past, and we know that he can do it. But giving Nate Jones the opportunity, and he'll get more opportunities. This is not one that's going to put him on the bench where he's not going to close anymore, because he's going to be able to do that. And Ricky Renteria and Don Cooper are going to see to it that he gets the opportunities to try.
Anderson to first, and that'll do it. But the Pirates force a bottom 9. The Sox need a run to tie, trailing 6-5.
On the home run by Colin Moran. 103.1 miles an hour with a 26-degree launch angle. Goes 416 feet, and if the wind were not blowing in, it'd probably gone 440. It was crushed, and it gave Pittsburgh the lead. There is a look at the hero for the moment, but 3 outs to go, and this team has a tendency to come back. They're going to have to come back against a guy that throws very well. Felipe Vasquez, 1-0 ERA at 3.21, but 17 strikeouts in 14 innings. And he has a very good arm.
He'll face Engel, Thompson, and Sanchez. If anyone reaches, Abreu will get a chance, barring a double play. Ball number 1. And Nate Jones, after a rough top of the 9th, alone on the bench.
It's a lonely place when you have a very tough 9th and you're the man, because nobody was up in the pen. Nate had it to himself, and unfortunately today did not get it done.
Two and 1. Rodriguez makes the catch. All you need is one swing here. Trace Thompson provided that the other night against the Twins to start this homestand. We'll see if maybe he can force extra innings. Strike on Trace.
Trace has 3 home runs and 3 driven in. All he needs is a fly ball to left field. With that in mind, Rodriguez is back deep in left. The outfield playing a no double set. They're just about as deep as you can get all the way around, shading around toward right center.
That was a come get it at 96.
Yeah, he's got fastball is there. And it's got movement. It's got some life. That wind is really starting to howl toward the left field corner. It's been like that. It's been consistent. Been like that all day long.
2-2. Trey stays alive. Sox were up 4-0. Pirates got 2 in the 6th. Sox countered with 1 in the 8th, but a Pittsburgh 4-run 9th inning as the Pirates in the lead.
Remember Jim Palmer saying, when a home run can beat you, keep it away and try to make him go opposite field.
Did there.
And Jim Palmer spent his entire career, a Hall of Fame career, by the way, 8-time 20-game winner. Never gave up a Grand Slam home run. That is astonishing to me. As many innings as pitched, as many games as he pitched, never gave up a Grand Slam. Nice job by Trace Thompson of staying alive and keeping the bat alive against a very tough left-handed closer.
Two and 2. In the air, short center field. Marte for round number 2, and it's up to Yolmer.
The pitch was middle away, and Trace caught it off the end of the bat. Could do nothing with it. So Yolmer is the last man standing, trying to keep it alive for Abreu. If Yolmer can get on, Jose Abreu can win it.
Seven-game hit streak now for Yolmer, 13 for his last 30. He takes strike 1. Up the middle, Mercer finishes the deal for the Pirates. They sweep this 2-game series.
That was a real good play by Mercer, by the way. That ball flattened out, could have easily gotten between his legs. It didn't, and a 1-2-3 ninth. And the Pirates sweep the series. And watch it. The ball flattens out on him, and he almost doesn't get it. But that's how steady he is for a man who doesn't have the greatest of range, but is a very dependable shortstop. The Pirates wrap it up with a huge comeback in the 9th.
6-5 your final score. See you at Wrigley.
I will see you there.
For our producer John Walgren, our director Jim Angio, associate producer Dave Ross, technical manager Mark Harper, and the executive producer Greg Bowman, and our entire crew here from Guaranteed Rate Field. He's Steve Stone. I'm Jason Benetti. So long. Coming up next, Subaru White Sox postgame live. You've been watching Chicago White Sox baseball on NBC Sports Chicago. Talk to you soon.